Hey, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update. Thank you for being here. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. Let's get into it. We have the eclipse coming up July 2nd. And get ready. It's going to hit very hard in the most beautiful way, but also in the most difficult ways for those that are resisting. Finally, we are brought to lean into the higher perspectives, higher energies, as above, so below. We're birthing those energies onto the planet. So what that means is that a lot of people, like a huge mass awakening, will happen. Not all at once, one-on-one, depending on everybody's path. And anytime from July 2nd till August, all these shifts are going to take place slowly into people's lives. It's a complete 180 degree, a huge shift that a lot of people are not seeing, don't think that it's coming. And for others, they're like, finally, this is coming. So if you have been in energies of chaos, misunderstanding, miscommunication, darkness, density, heaviness, a relief is on its way. We needed to go through that in order to release what no longer is serving us or was serving us, in order to make space for the new. And I think I say that in every video, but that's how it is. I was watching a video the other day from Magenta Pixie, and she was saying the human being is an never-ending spiral because it's all about our DNA. And it was beautifully said, and I agree with that. And I say it often. When it comes to releasing, it's a never-ending and unfolding path. It's a spiral. Like one cycle ends, another one begins. And as she was saying, it's this way because it is our DNA, the double helix. So there again, we are on the verge of a huge phase ending. And that phase is the one that started with the January eclipse. It's ending and the new one is about to begin. And it's a completely different one. Smoother, bringing more compassion, more love, a thinning of the veil once more. Another layer being taken away from our perceptions, from our visions, from the way we interact with one another. If you are on this path or have been on this path, you most probably are feeling that things are changing rapidly and drastically. You're probably seeing how fast you're manifesting things that you never thought possible before, or that you've been trying to manifest for so long and it just wasn't happening. Well, the energies are right. The fruit is ready to be picked up from the tree. Finally, people are leaning into those higher vibrations of spirituality, of alchemy, of manifestation, and understanding these deep concepts that always have been part of humanity, of being a human being. It's just that for a while, we were conditioned differently. And now it's the spinning of the wheels. It's a turning point where these old conditions are out the door. New ones are in. More aligned one, more humans one. More human in the sense that it makes more sense to be living this way, heart-based living versus mind-based living. And you may have seen that recently in your own life or own energy where you were confronted with those concepts of having to speak about energy, having to be confronted by people stuck in the mind over matter energy and forgetting that there's higher than the mind. More and more people will be speaking their truth out loud because there's no more possibility of hiding. There's no more space or place to hide. I know in my personal experience lately, I was into difficult conversations and discussions about these matters, which was challenging me in my own truth. I was in front of people, challenging me in my own divinity and standing up for myself, speaking my truth, putting boundaries was the only way to respect myself, the only way to stay aligned with myself. So we're going to see a lot of these situations showing up, a lot of tower moments as well, to cleanse out the stuff that no longer belongs. And these people that have been resisting, perhaps you're starting to see a sparkle in their eyes, that spark of awakening. I know I have, and I see this on a daily basis. And the miscommunication and misunderstanding, it was just, like I mentioned, I think in my last video, people reacting to your own light. They were reacting to your own expansion, feeling triggered, therefore coming at you saying, hey, you're wrong, you're doing the wrong thing here. And it also was serving as a test for you to see, am I ready to keep moving forward? Or am I going to choose to stay behind or stay stuck or listen to anything outside of myself and my own truth? This eclipse is bringing a deep layer of truth, truth coming out, truth being revealed, truth being seen. Because the truth has always been there and accessible. But a lot of people were just resisting to go see that truth, especially twin flames, especially people outside of twin flame connections, making interference with that kind of energy, trying to keep someone on a lower level, denser level, instead of just respecting and saying, hey, if this is your truth, that's fine by me. I'm not going to judge. So we're going to see a shift there in people, those doubtful people, whether it's a twin flame or someone not understanding the concept of this connection. We're going to see a huge flip of the scripts, a huge flip of the situations for them to see that there is more out there than what their minds are able to process at this time. So this is, again, just another layer of awakening. It's a part of the journey, especially if you're a twin flame. That's the whole part. That's the whole goal. It's to awaken to your true self, to your authentic self. So for sure, someone that is not a twin flame or not understanding this connection will try to knock some sense into people. But for those who are true twin flames, they're like, what are you talking about? I believe you may be projecting stuff onto me that don't belong to me. So we've been through a big phase of that, a big phase of not being on the same frequency, therefore making communication extremely hard, extremely demanding, because we were being misunderstood. The eclipse will change that. The eclipse will bring no possibility of the truth being hidden, being put down. And the eclipse will also bring a huge wave of clarity. It goes with the thinning of the veil once more. Clarity to everyone, but especially to the divine masculine. For those divine masculine who did a big amount of work on themselves, healing their lives, themselves, they're now going to receive huge, huge information on clarity. And that explains a few physical symptoms that we were having, the blurry vision and all of that. they will see things so differently, and especially towards the connection, the twin flame connection, but also towards the karmic connections. Whether it is a karmic relationship, romantic karmic relationship, or a karmic relationship with a family member, co-worker, a job, or whatnot. They are on the verge of seeing what those karmic people really are to their core, and most of them are resisting people. They are resisting their own awakening, therefore they are always projecting outside and always asking and taking and me, but me, yes, but me, and being in a victim mode. And a lot of twin flames, divine masculine, they were giving in to that lower energy, and now they're seeing that they don't need to, and they're working on forgiving themselves for doing that, and asking for forgiveness towards the divine feminine, because a lot of those patterns were making them run away from the divine feminine, projecting onto her all the BS that the karmic people were putting on them. Instead of being able to take a step back and look at what's going on, they just weren't able to do it. And now these things are going to change drastically and very quickly for those who are ready. Those who are not there yet, that's okay. It's going to come. It's going to change. They're going to receive the same information when they're ready to. And now for those who are choosing to resist, it's not going to be an option. It won't be possible. Resistance will automatically equal or result into problems, into making it harder on ourselves. And those problems will only show up for people to awaken and to realize that they are going in the wrong directions. This is a mass awakening. This is a team effort, and the entire team must go in the same direction. It's like being in a canoe and rowing. Everybody needs to row in the same direction. Otherwise, there's no forward movement possible. And this is what we're in right now. So that's why lately it's been difficult. The sleeping patterns were all over the place, physical symptoms all over the place. Even the thoughts. If you're a very sensitive person, you may have been picking up on the collective and being like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Because there's so many thoughts going in my mind at the same time and so quickly that it's impossible for me to make sense of this. And rest assured, it was coming from the collective, from that wind of change that went by us. And just earlier this week, we received huge heart energies, cleansing and opening our heart chakras. So again, physical symptoms, if you're having upper back or chest pain, or pressure, that's what it is. And the people that are the most affected by this is the divine masculine. I should say the energies that are the most affected by this is the divine masculine. It's the final surrender, final lean into this, buddy, because this is your path, this is your truth, this is the real life. Stop with the stories. Stop with the pretending, the hiding, the wearing the mask, the saying, no, I don't believe in spirituality. No, I don't believe that this person is the perfect person for me. This has come to an end. There's no more space for this. No more tolerance for this. The universe is working overtime to make us understand this. So choosing to resist at this point is going to be very rough. It's still doable, but rough. Like it's going to result in a lot of negative situations happening. And this eclipse is also going to bring like heart-based living, like no more time for mind-based living, but heart-based. And we're going to see things changing on that matter very rapidly. Even the most doubtful people will now receive clarity about their own heart connection, to put that into practice into their own lives. So at this point, speaking our truth loud, clearly, and lovingly, all the while shining bright and holding space with compassion or in compassion for other people, is extremely important. There is no more space for feeling the guilt or the doubts about speaking our truth. The more people that are aligned with their heart truth, the easier things will be. It's a team effort. Once again, team effort. We're all in this together. And you may have been confronted by those situations where people try to interfere with that connection with your heart. And that's fine. You passed the test. If you stood in your truth and you said goodbye to these people. And that brought a lot of changes in people's lives, or will bring a lot of changes in people's lives by changing to upgrade. You know, like when we change phones, we upgrade to the newer model, and there's always like more features in the phone, a better camera, a better screen, a better, I don't know, system, whatever. Same thing with people. So if you found yourself losing your hairdresser or your caregiver and whatnot, that's what it's all about. Just open your arms and embrace what's coming, because the new people that you will find are better aligned with you to help you on this part of the path. Doesn't mean that the older people or other people are wrong. They're just at a different level and they're no longer able to assist you, and that's okay. Changing masters, changing teachers, changing friends is okay, absolutely okay. It's harder to do when it comes to family or co-worker. And I know in the work area, a lot of people have been challenged with, I'm going to use the word younger, but I'm not referring to age, younger in spirits or younger in energy. A lot of people have been challenged by younger people, like hungry younger people, hungry for knowledge, hungry for recognition. And just by being compassionate with these people and not feeling like you're a threat or threatened by them, but feeling like they're part of the team and they need you to awaken further, deeper, is the way to go. And that's how you're able to shift and change the energies, because I know it's a very uncomfortable way to be when you're at work and a colleague, co-worker is always coming at you, trying to steal your light kind of thing. That's going to change with the eclipse. These people are going to receive their own guidance. They're going to realize that they've been coming at the situation the wrong way or the wrong angle, and they're going to shift. But for that to happen, you need to be in the right vibrations for that to happen. Compassion, understanding, holding the space. These people have to learn from you, and you need to serve as a guide, a lighthouse for them to have a point of reference. And perhaps it was just lack of experience that made them act this way. And it's nothing that cannot be forgiven. It's nothing that cannot be flipped around for the best. And that's what's going to happen during the eclipse. Complete flip of the script, really. Tables will turn drastically. As far as the divine masculine, aside from the karmic situations, which a lot of them are fed up, done with, about to do something or have done something about, a lot of them have changed their lives into more alignment and now getting ready to welcome this twin flame connection. Be more open, lean into it, because they realize that they are at the end of the tunnel. There's no more place to go. The only option is to lean in. And they know. When they look back, they know that they've been resisting. They know that they've been running and hiding. They know that for some, they haven't been fair to the divine feminine. They know they haven't been real with the divine feminine. And all of that is about to change. It's not going to change overnight. It's going to come when it's meant to be, because it's all part of a plan, of a bigger plan. And perhaps you've had validations for that in your life lately. Finding a solution to a problem that you've been working on for so long. And the only thing that you can think is, it must have been planned this way. Otherwise, I would have found that solution much before, a long time ago. So the divine masculine, they see the divine feminine, and they're aligning themselves with those vibrations of the twin flame connection. And that means that union with self, with ourselves within, has been reached for some. As far as synchronicities go, a lot of twin flames will receive synchronicities or will go through synchronicities to meet the twin out of nowhere, stuff like that. But the old ways of receiving synchronicities through numbers, the 111, 1111, is done for a lot of people. There's no more need for these validations, for these hints, for these synchronicities to show up, because you are exactly on your path. You are exactly aligned with your heart and following your own guidance. Therefore, none of that is needed anymore. You are part of the event, because it is part of the event. The event is about shifting our consciousness and our perceptions, and to realize that as above, so below is just not a fancy sentence. It's alchemy that we're all able to do. And once you understand that process and are able to use it at will, put it into practice at will, you are in the event. That's what the event is about. And it's not about all doing this all at once, but doing it at our own pace, our own rhythm, when we're ready to. So more of that coming up with the eclipse as well. And people will receive it when they're ready. You may have realized also how quickly you're able to manifest stuff. Let's say you're in need of something and you just ask, please show me where I can find this person, where I can do this, where I can find this kind of service, and how quickly you will find it. That's to show that a lot of work has been done and completed if you are in those energies. For other people, they are starting to understand this. So it's important to hold the space for these people to catch up, do their work, understand and learn, education. So lead by being an example. That's how they're going to learn. And you may also have realized how spiritual communication, telepathy, is much easier, much more common, or have been much more common these past few weeks. Even with people that you thought would never go down that road. It may have showed up in your life as a coincidence, which I prefer to call a synchronicity. For these people to awaken to this, you may find yourself sitting in the room in a meeting, for example, at work, with friends, whatnot, and having a thought, and then by the time you speak it out loud, someone else is saying the same thing at the same time. That's just the unified field. It's either you or that person who put up that thought in the field and you picked up on it. And then you synchronize yourself with that person, with that person's vibration and frequency, to say the same thing at the same time. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm referring to when I say the old ways of receiving synchronicities. It's going to become more synchronicities like that, validated right there on the spot, for us to understand and to have the proper awareness of that unified field of saying, hey, I'm in the same room as that person and we had the same thought, no matter what it is. And you may have been going through that in the past month or so, alongside that huge chaotic cloud of energy that we needed to clear. And it's still not done completely, still in progress, but as the eclipse shows up, it's going to change and it's going to shift pace quickly. Relief, it's going to be different. As far as physical symptoms, all our chakras are being upgraded. All of them, we're cleansing and clearing so much from the root chakra, those fears. A lot of people have been stuck in fears, not understanding where they are coming from, or just stuck in general, being unable to understand where it's coming from, or feeling the need to release or to cry, but nothing was coming up. That was because so many people were resisting. Especially if you're in a twin flame connection, perhaps your twin was resisting, so you were unable to clear this. Now you will be able to clear it, because they are leaning, like I said, leaning and surrendering to the connection. Skin rashes are slowing down, thank God, because that's uncomfortable. Heart chakra, throat, and crown. Huge alignment and releasing and new energies coming up for these chakras. The throat is a major one. The crown, to receive more information and to understand it and to integrate it in the body. Also, appetite. Our bodies were detoxing at such a deep cellular level that all our system were kind of messed up. Perhaps a lot of people will start going in through that phase very shortly, either right at the eclipse or right after the eclipse. When that happens, all you can do is really surrender to the process. Your body needs it. We've also witnessed a lot of people taking a step back to just retreat into their own bubbles. And some of them, it was for the right reasons, and for others, it was for like purely selfish reasons. That is coming to an end. If it was for good reasons, you needed perhaps to take a step back, take a pause to heal yourself. And you're going to rise up again with superpowers. Thinking, my God, I never thought I would have been able to reach that level. So we can thank the eclipse for that. And for the other people who retreated into a selfish kind of energy, retreated their heart to put the ego up front and to let the ego lead the way, well, they're going to receive their own guidance to awaken further and to stop with the victim mode, to stop with the demanding and me, what about me? They're going to receive their guidance for that. So hang in there if you're surrounded with these kind of energies. It's not going to last much longer. If we go back to the Divine Masculine, I was talking about the karmic situations. A lot of them right now are looking at their partners or ex-partners thinking, what did I ever find in you to be in love with you? What did I ever find in you that kept me here with you? I must have been asleep all this time. And not accusing the karmic of anything, but just them realizing that they were asleep. Them realizing that they were not in alignment with themselves and with what they wanted for themselves. And a lot of them are taking action on that. They made the decision of, this is the last time that you do this to me. This is the last time that you take from me. Especially for the ones that are involved with a very selfish karmic person, the kind of person who only thinks about themselves. That's done. Therefore, that's opening up a space for the twin flame connection. It's opening up a space in their mind and in their hearts to receive from the connection, from the universe, and to realign themselves with that. It's affecting them on all levels at this point, affecting them at work, affecting them in their sleep, at home. They don't feel like socializing. They feel like being left alone so that they can process this. But even at work, they seem to be thinking about the karmic situation often, trying to find solutions to let go. And they are also thinking about the divine feminine nonstop. And they are saying to themselves, I can't deny this any longer. I just can't. It's occupying my entire mind, my entire thoughts all the time. I cannot pretend any longer. And we're going to see a lot of shifts happening with that in the next few weeks, few months. And rest assured that if you're in the twin flame connection and you're doing your work, they are too. It's a team, and it's impossible for one to have the lead all the time. It's a mirror effect, it's a ripple effect. One reflects the other and vice versa. So if you are doing your work, so are they. And if you've been purging, been very emotional, been feeling like you're stuck, it most probably was because of the twin flame connection. They were feeling stuck. They were trying to resist that purge. They can't anymore. So relief is really on the way for a lot of people because this journey has been taxing and it's been hard, challenging in every possible way. Just to be true about it is, I'm trying to find the right words here because I can't put words onto the feeling that I have right now, but this journey basically takes everything out of oneself to release it, heal it, cleanse it, so that new things can show up, like a new version, a better version. And resisting this, I can't imagine. Resisting this, it's to me, it's harder to resist than to just surrender. But I understand the resistance because at first, when I first awakened, I did a lot of resistance in my life. Especially when my spiritual gifts started showing up, I was resisting that a whole lot until I had no more choice and I was given a situation where I couldn't doubt anymore. And it was a pretty traumatic situation where I had to just sit down and say, okay, am I dreaming? Pinch myself. No, I'm not dreaming. I'm alive. I saw that happening, and this is purely spiritual stuff, spiritual gifts showing up. So I can no longer deny that. I can no longer deny that this stuff is real. Because the mind cannot be like all spiritual and passionate and heart-based when the mind is taking too much space. And that's the whole point of the journey, is to create a balance between the two. Because being all in one, all spiritual and disconnecting from whatever is going on earth won't do any good. And being all in your mind and all disconnected from your heart won't do any good either. It's about the balance between the two and how to integrate the two. And it's hard. It's sometimes difficult when you're stuck in a 3D life, having to do your work, having to do your chores, your task. It's not easy to keep your heart open. It's easy to just shut it down and say, you know what, I don't care about you and your needs. But it's by bringing the two together that you reach a state where it feels blissful. It feels like, oh my God, yeah, I like that. I like that vibe. So then again, no more time to be doubtful. No more time to pretend that this is not real. And this is what the Divine Masculine is about to walk into, or is already in. And validations will come. And on the other end, if you are at that stage where you're like, yeah, it's true, the synchronicities have changed in my life, congratulate yourself. You've done a tremendous amount of work. Now keep the balance. It's easy to lose your footing when you're in that state, because it's easy to lose the sight of this awareness. So keep feeding that awareness. Keep feeding that connection. Keep pushing yourself further and further to bring other people with you in that energy. Be a leader by shining bright and speaking your truth. And really, just get prepared for this eclipse, because it might hurt in some ways. But the pain is not always a sign of bad stuff. It may look like it's negative, but there's always a silver lining. So that's it for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram at IndigoGirl555, Facebook at Indigo Girls Readings, and you can also use my email if you want to get in touch with me at indigogirl555 gmail@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Happy Canada Day for my fellow Canadians. Happy 4th of July for my fellow Americans. And I'm sorry if there are other national holidays that I'm not aware of. But enjoy the rest of the weekend. And until the next time, be well.